Minnesota.
Save more at HyVee. Earn fuel saver rewards on over 1,000 items at your Albert Lee HyVee with your HyVee Perks card. Don't have a card? Sign up today. It's free. Go to HyVee.com/perks.
Support local hockey and grow your business by becoming an Austin Bruins partner. With customizable packages featuring in-arena exposure, media and digital promotions, and more, your brand will be seen by thousands of passionate fans. Join the team behind the team. Become a sponsor today by calling 507-434-4978 or visiting austinbruins.com.
You finally got that new toy, shiny, powerful, and ready for adventure. But then... oh, didn't see that, did ya? Or maybe your buddy Dave took your jet ski for a spin. And now it's at the bottom of the lake. That's where Americana Insurance Group comes in. We cover motorcycles, ATVs, watercraft, and RVs because accidents happen, especially to Dave. Protect your toys from yourself and Dave. Americana Insurance of Albert Lee, Ellendale, and Wells. AmericanaInsurance.com.
As the seasons change, so do things at the Pizza Ranch, located in the Northbridge Mall just off I-90 in Albert Lee. Now, senior appreciation pricing is all day Wednesday, not just for lunch. You can also get the buffet for just $11.99 from 11 until 11:29, Monday through Friday, with the early bird discount. Kids still eat free with a paid adult on Tuesdays, and the party rooms are available, seating up to 100 people. It's all at the Pizza Ranch, located in the Northbridge Mall just off I-90 in Albert Lee.
The friendly staff at Albert Lee's Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union reminds you that when you're in need of a home that satisfies your financial needs, let Trades and Labor Credit Union make it easy with checking services, debit cards, home equity loans, and savings options that will earn you more for your money. Visit Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union on Albert Lee's friendly south side. Open 6 days a week with social distancing for your safety and theirs. Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union, member NCUA, providing financial services since 1958.
Howard 96.
Hey, that's right. Welcome here to another edition of Tigers Sports Saturday. I'm your host, Dave Nelson, of course, sports director here for Power 96. Alongside of me today is Mr. Marcus Antonio Calderon, a.k.a. Caldy, a.k.a. Sparky, as we call him in the business. How's it going today there, Mr. Calderon?
Doing well, sir. Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, folks, today was supposed to be a beautiful day outside with some softball. We were supposed to be live from, of course, the Hammer Complex, but Mother Nature decided... let's not do anything today, as it is chilly outside. I don't know if you guys have been outside yet or not, but it is definitely cold. 33 degrees is what it says right now. But with that wind, the real feel, it feels like 22. So no games were going to get to be played today at all anyway. And so we're inside, which is okay.
Yeah, we'll take it.
And so a good day here. And I tell you what, folks. Last night, Caldy and I, we got a chance to go over to Austin to watch the Austin Bruins as the playoff push started last night. And wow, what a game. The Bruins definitely didn't play their best game out there on the ice last night, but they made it work, and in the end they won 3-2, even after, what was it, like 3 minutes to go. Watertown pulled the goalie, and there's some good shots there, but it ended up being that the Bruins did hold out. And Game 2 will be tonight, but we'll talk more about that here in just a little bit. But, yeah, we're excited for tonight. Game 2 at Riverside Arena. We'll have our Austin Bruins insider here in just a moment. But let's talk a little bit of Tiger sports here. Of course, today there was supposed to be a whole bunch of activities, but they have been pushed back. Of course, let's start here on the Big Nine site is the site I like to look at as well because they have everything on there. Of course, you can go to albertleeathletics.com and see everything on there as well. But the boys' JV tennis and varsity triangular that was supposed to be today here in town, that's been rescheduled to the 27th, which I'm assuming then that's next week.
A little bit further.
A little bit further.
Yeah.
The 27th would be, I want the calendar. I don't know why that, there it is.
27th would be next
Monday.
Next
Monday.
2
there's
Mondays
the
from now.
calendar, yeah. So that's when that JV triangular will be. You also had the baseball, originally scheduled as a doubleheader, then went to just one game up in Faribault. That has been postponed to May 16th. And then the softball as well. Like I said, we were going to be doing a softball doubleheader today in town here against Faribault, but that has been pushed back to 5/16. It does say that the first game is the conference game, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But, all right, let's take a look this week in Tiger Sports. Of course, Monday, a full slate. You got golf, girls varsity and JV. That'll be over in Rochester at the Eastwood Golf Course. Boys golf will be here in town at the Wedgewood Cove Golf Club, and that looks like starts at 2:30. 4:30, you got track and field. It's going to be boys and girls, varsity and JV. They're going to be over at Rochester Mayo for a triangular. Baseball will be Monday night, and Power 96 will bring you that game. I know that's one of those Monday night games that we'll be covering for you, as boys varsity, JV, and C are all against Jordan here in town. Of course, varsity at 5 p.m. will be at High Field. We'll bring you that coverage here on Power 96. Hopefully your internet works a little better Monday. Today it's working great again. On Thursday night, we did have a little bit of lag coming from the internet. Not sure what was going on, of course, with the different weather patterns, things like that. We know that can always affect everything that's out there. But like I said, we're running hot today, which is great. Girls softball, they're going to be on the road at Stewartville. And as of right now, that game is scheduled to be 5 for the varsity. JV will go at 6:30. I know yesterday's weather, Stewartville got hit. I got some friends that live over there. They were lucky enough not to get any damage. It was kind of on the north side, so I'm not sure where the softball fields are at there in Stewartville. Do you know where they're at, Caldy?
I am unaware of that either.
So hopefully that game will get underway on Monday. Of course, prayers to everybody over in that east side where that tornado damage came through. Even Rochester, got some damage. I was looking at some Snapchats from some of my friends. Of course, this is Dart weekend as well, and Caldy and I, as well as the rest of our teammates, would be over in Roch. But we decided that Bruins hockey takes precedence over darts. So that's why we're here today instead of being over in Rochester for the dart tournament. But it was funny when the tornado sirens went off, everybody was in the locker rooms there at the Graham Arena.
Yeah. Right.
So, excuse me. Tuesday, we're going to go right back into more sports. Of course, girls golf. It says here at Austin Country Club. That's a Big Nine conference meet. That's at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. So girls golf varsity Big Nine conference meet versus multiple schools at the Austin Country Club at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Then we get into some more baseball. You have 7th grade versus Mankato East. That's at 4:15 at the middle school here in town. The 8th grade baseball game has been canceled, and I'm not sure if they have enough for a full team or if they're going back and forth. I know with some of the younger teams, not a lot of participation, so they're kind of mixing some of the teams together. So not sure how that is. I'll have to find that out some more here from some parents here. Of course, 4:30 is going to be track and field to junior high invite. That's going to be at the Hammer Complex. That's the JV invite. Tennis boys JV and varsity are going to be up in Faribault. That's at 4:45, 5 p.m. Baseball, as it's going to be over in Austin for baseball there. And but at 5 p.m. we'll have girls varsity softball here in town as Austin comes to town. So that is on Tuesday. Wednesday, it says 9 a.m. The Big Nine Conference boys golf is at the Mankato Golf Club at 9 a.m. 3 to 7, Big Nine music rehearsal. That'll be just a practice, it looks like there. And then there's another practice that has been canceled. It just says canceled. Not sure on that. Thursday, boys JV, tennis, and varsity will be here in town against Northfield. That's at 4:45. Baseball, 9A, JV, and varsity will be here in town. So we'll have that game for you as well, the varsity game at Highfield. That's at 5 o'clock. And then the girls will travel to Mankato West that evening, again at 5 o'clock. Friday, girls varsity invitational will be at noon, and that is at Lake City Golf Course. And then 4:30, softball 7th grade girls will be versus Casson Manorville. And at 6 p.m., 8th grade girls will be also at Casson Manorville. And I am hearing a little... Oh, I know what it is. Do you hear it in the background, too? I think it's...
it's a pop machine.
No, I hear myself.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I know what it is, too. And then next Saturday, of course, no events going on as of now because it is prom. So prom is next Saturday for your Albert Lee High School. So that is this week.
Be super safe out there, people.
Yes, be safe. That is for sure.
Let's let the high school kids enjoy their day and have a very good time so they don't have to worry about what they're doing, and let's all adults be responsible for what we're doing too.
Very, very true. Very good words there, Mr. Calderon. So that is this week in your Tiger Sports. Okay, like I was saying before, kind of got into here, Austin Bruins, big weekend here. Of course, there's 4 teams from the Central, and your Austin Bruins are first place. Of course, they took the championship. So they're the number 1 seed, and they're hosting Watertown Shamrocks. And I tell you what, Watertown, quite a few fans last night from Watertown at Riverside Arena as well.
Yeah, they didn't play around. They were spot on supporting their team, and from what we hear, they're bringing in the crowd when they have their home games too. So
yes, so tonight too, we're expecting to see quite a few Shamrock fans. So if any of you Shamrock fans are listening in today, appreciate you guys spending money at local businesses throughout Freeborn and Mower County, and like I said, it's always a good time. I know next weekend will be game 3 and 4 if needed on Saturday night, game 3 on Friday. That has been sold out for months. They kind of knew that they were going to be the 3 or 4 seed, so they were going to be home the second weekend. We have friends, Chris and Angel Sauer there. They travel quite a bit with the Bruins, and he was telling me last night that you cannot get a ticket at all because it is sold out in Watertown. So even though we could maybe go, we could maybe check that out next weekend. Unfortunately, we won't be able to go Friday, but if Game 4 happens to take place, that will be next Saturday, and we'll see what happens. It's like a road trip. Probably not, but yeah, so let's get into our Austin Bruins Insider for this week, and we do want to make a special announcement here. Not next weekend, but the following weekend, pending the Bruins win this first round series. Second round will be against either the 2-3 seed, which last night Aberdeen did. They're the number 3 seed. They beat the number 2 seed Bismarck 3-0 last night. Shut them out. And so, like I said, it's hockey. There's a lot of games left. You got basically two more weeks of it here in this opening round. But if the Bruins advance to the second round, not next Saturday, so the 25th, but on May 2nd, we will be doing Tiger Sports Saturday live from Riverside Arena. Of course, I got talking to Mr. Coyer last night and Peter, and we'll hopefully maybe have a couple players, maybe some coaches, some fans, some super fans maybe join us that day. But I'm excited. I know, Caldy, you're excited. It's always a fun time over there. But let's get into this week's Austin Bruins Insider. This week, Peter Theodos and David Coyer get talking a little bit about this first round of the playoffs. As, like I said, it's a big weekend here at Riverside Arena. Here's your Austin Bruins Insider for this week.
The Robertson Cup playoffs are here. The Austin Bruins closed out the record-breaking season with 43 wins, the most in team history, to clinch the number 1 seed throughout the Central Division playoffs. This weekend, they host the Watertown Shamrocks at Riverside Arena for games 1 and 2 on Friday and Saturday, both nights 7:05 puck drop. And today, here on this new edition of Austin Bruins Insider, I'm the voice of the Bruins, David Coyer, here to break down the Robertson Cup playoffs in the Central Division. And with me is Bruins Director of Business Development, Peter Theodos. Peter, welcome back to the program.
Well, this is great. You know, we did the same thing last year. I think we were joking around about how we rambled on about the promo video or the promo schedule at the beginning of the year, and I think we rambled on last year for one of these as well. So always good to get back on and talk some playoff hockey with you.
You know, you've been around the division for quite some time, 5 years with the Minot Minotauros. So you know what, 4 years with the Minot Minotauros, excuse me. Shows how close of friends we are, right?
Yeah, right.
I know. So you know what the Central Division playoffs entail, and this is actually a rare year that the Minot Minotauros aren't in the Robertson Cup playoffs. Third time in team history for that, but the Austin Bruins have now made it 5 straight years. First time since the 2022-23 season that they are the number 1 seed. And the Bruins are facing off against a team in just their second year as a franchise. The Watertown Shamrocks took just 2 years for them to make the Robertson Cup playoffs. And I've talked with the coaching staff, and, you and I have talked off air about this. And I think the big thing heading into this season, or this playoff, I should say, is that the Austin Bruins have a lot of playoff experience on their team. I have a number of guys who were here last year. They knew what it took to do the reverse sweep against the Minot Minotauros, took a game against the eventual Robertson Cup champ Bismarck Bobcats. The Watertown Shamrocks, they've got maybe a handful of guys, less than probably 5 guys on their team who have any sort of null playoff experience. How do you think that affects going into this series, just the determination on the ice between these players and knowing what it takes to win?
Yeah, I don't think – I mean, we saw it last year with the Bruins. You know, we had 6 returners.
Five returners
last year that had maybe a combined 30 minutes of time on the ice the year before in the playoffs. So this, the Bruins team last year was a very young, inexperienced team. So I don't necessarily think that that's something that the Shamrocks, you can hold against them. I think this is a very hungry, aggressive Shamrocks team. They had a very, while their first year wasn't good from a record standpoint, I remember watching them last year thinking, this is a good, bad team. They were a good team that just couldn't figure out how to win games. This year, with a lot of their returners, they won games this year. Obviously, making it to the Robertson Cup playoffs for the first time in their team history. So I think there's a lot of things with this Watertown team to keep an eye on. And, these are 2 different teams when the last time they played, this is the first time this is the only team that the Bruins lost the season series to. So this Watertown Shamrocks team is a very good team. And the Bruins have to stay focused on that. And I think they're going to use the fact that they, lost the season series as a little bit of an extra motivator for the Bruins.
The Shamrocks taking 5 of the 8 games this season in the 8-game season series against the Bruins. The Shamrocks, the only team this year to sweep the Bruins. They did so twice, once here at Riverside Arena in November, and then in the final season or series of the season back in January out in Watertown. They did not beat the Bruins by more than a goal in a single game this year. The Bruins only losing 4 games this year by more than a goal. Last year, the Shamrocks in their first season, they were in the basement of the Central Division for most of the year, but then a second half that ended up kind of climbing them a little bit. They did finish 6th, 1933, 2-5. So still, like you said, not the best record, but Casey Curley and his coaching staff over in Watertown did a great job recruiting this offseason and able to pull together a team that was able to sit in 4th place for the majority of the season, dating back to about November, December-ish is when they clinched, or is when they got that 4th spot. and surrendered it for maybe a day or two, or were tied with the North Iowa Bulls, but were able to hang on and win a lot in the second half of the season and keep that 4th seed. Despite losing a couple of their top scorers, Carter Sproul in December committing to the University of Connecticut and ended up going and playing with UConn in the second half of the season. Junior Podine going up to play in Canada. So 2 guys who at the beginning of the season led the team in scoring, but Zach Boren, their current leading scorer, really stepped up in the second half of the season. So this Watertown team, very dangerous. They know how to win, and they know how to keep those spots. So good points there, Peter. But the Bruins with home ice advantage for another year. Last year, and I've talked about this on the air, and this is something I like to bring up, and we even saw it this year with the play-in series in the East and South Division, is that home ice advantage isn't necessarily always a benefit. Last year in the Central Division, the Bruins only winning 1 game at home. That was Game 5 against Minot. The Bismarck Bobcats only winning 2 games at home. That was Game 5 against the Aberdeen Wings and Game 2 against the Bruins in the Central Division final. This year, I mean, we saw a couple teams in the East and South, the lower seeds swept, and they moved on to the next round of those playoffs. Now, we did see some teams pick up a win and then end up losing the next 2, but home ice advantage isn't always a guaranteed win.
No, and the funny thing about the East and the Central divisions are they're both very similar in one aspect. The East, no, they're all the same because no one really gets a lot of crowd. So you don't really have the home ice advantage. Whereas the Central division, all of these teams, except for a handful, get really good crowds on a day in and day out basis. So, you know, we had 17 straight games here in Austin where we had over 1,000 people. We saw almost 1,600 people at our last one last Saturday. So while you want the home ice advantage, you want that last game, you want the ability to have your players sleeping in their own beds to start the round in the playoffs. You know, all these teams are used to playing and being very good, very loud arenas. So while you want the crowds to be loud and all that, teams are just used to playing in that style of arena.
And you mentioned the 17 straight home games with 1,000 or more fans here at Riverside Arena. The crowd has been getting into these games. They're invested in this team, and we saw it, as you mentioned, on Fan Appreciation Night. But the Austin Bruins actually have a even record for the most part. 21 wins, 7 losses, both on the home or at home and on the road. Now on the road, 5 of those losses in regulation, 1 overtime loss. That was against the Watertown Shamrocks, and 1 shootout loss against the St. Cloud Norsemen. So very even records. But when you look at the home record for the Bruins this year, actually the second best record at home this season, behind the Maryland Black Bears, who were 26-2-2 at their home arena. They are the #1 overall seed in the North American Hockey League, had 102 points this season. While the Austin Bruins at home, like I mentioned, 22-7-0-1. That says 30 games played. Oh, I forgot. You know, they throw in the showcase when I'm looking on the official website. So actually, let me pull up my spot boards. The Bruins 21-7 at home at Riverside Arena this season, which again, still the second best record at home this year, just 9 points behind those Maryland Black Bears. So this team loves to play at home, but they're very dangerous on the road. So it should be fairly exciting playoff series. And, you know, we touched on it. The Watertown Shamrocks, the only team that the Bruins lost to this year. But you also look at it, they haven't seen Watertown since January. And this is a very different Bruins team than what we saw back in January, or the 6 games that these two teams played each other in the first half of the season. I mean, they had 4 of their games already done by mid-November, 6 of the games played by middle of December, and then that last series in January. So, I mean, the Watertown Shamrocks, a slightly different team. They still have most of their core that the Bruins have seen, including their star goaltender Mason Gudridge. But the Bruins, I mean, picking up Carter McKay, picking up Bobby Williams, picking up Kyle Sorensen, all at the trade deadline. This has been a different defense. I mean, we've seen this team shut down a lot of teams, especially recently. We've seen a lot of high-scoring games from this Bruins offense that has been able to produce. And goaltending, Jack Solomon and Cody Budakis have still been a dominant pair in net. So, I mean, seeing that these two teams haven't faced off since January, how do you think that'll differ now with these two teams seeing each other in the postseason?
I definitely think, like you said, these teams are completely different. And for the most part, we were talking with the coaching staff after a lot of these games leading up to this weekend, and until recently, they were playing the Bruins were playing really, really good hockey. But you almost felt like the coaching staff was like, when we click, we are going to be dangerous. And I think that the Bismarck weekend a couple weeks ago, this past weekend, if we're not fully clicking, we are pretty darn close to playing dominant hockey. And I think that's a big thing to look at, moving forward. And I can't take credit for this because you texted me this stat last night. Watertown was outshot in 23 of their last 30 games, which says a lot, because if you're not getting shots, obviously you can't score. So, and I'd love to know what the Bruins, what the shot totals were for the last couple games as you're pulling that up. But, I think with the way the Bruins are playing right now and the brand of hockey that they're playing, it's going to be really tough for Watertown to come into this arena and try to outshoot the Bruins.
The Bruins this season, 35-7-4 when outshooting their opponents. They've only been outshot 12 times this year, 8-4 in those games. But you look back to that Watertown series in January, the Bruins got swept 4-3 in both games, and in both of those games almost doubling the Watertown shot total. And that's what happens when you run into a dominant goaltender like Mason Gudridge was. He was first star of the week that week for the Central Division, ended up winning January goaltender of the month for his performance. I mean, he was named to top prospects, got to play against the U.S. national team development program, ended up losing in that contest. But I mean, it was just, he is such a good goaltender. And when the Bruins hit a hot goaltender, sometimes it doesn't matter how many shots you take. And I mean, that just shows, you mentioned that the Shamrocks were outshot in that many games, but they also had a winning record. They had 15 wins in those 23 games while being outshot. So they like to sit and wait and see.
You would text me
11-8.
11-8-3-1.
11-8-3-1. See, I don't know where I got that 15 from, but 15 sounded right, and I was running with it. This is why we have fact checkers here on Bruins Insider. But still, I mean, 11 wins in 23 games. That's especially when you're getting outshot. And while I was looking through it last night, I mean, there were a lot of games where it was a significant margin of being outshot. But that just shows that their offense doesn't need to take a lot of shots. They take the right shots to be able to score. And of course, when you got a goaltender behind you like Mason Gudridge, he can stand on his head and make some of those saves. And the Bruins ran into that last year in the playoffs in the first round against Lucas Fedin of the Minot Minotauros. I mean, he's off playing Division I college hockey right now and one of the top goaltenders in college hockey as well as a freshman. But last year, I mean, that's what we saw here at Riverside Arena. He won the first two games because he was not letting anything by. And so while, the more shots you take, the more likely you are to score. That's not always the case for some teams. And the Bruins, I think their offense right now, they've been taking the right shots. They've been setting up. They've been creating chaos in front of the net. And they've got some dynamic goal scorers as of recent, especially E.J. Paddington this last Saturday, setting both the single season and career goals record. He has 38 goals this season, passing his former teammate Alex Lorenza for the former line mate for the single season goals record, and passing Walter Zacker's 57 career goals. EJ now has 58 regular season goals on his career. You mentioned the Bismarck series, and I think that was a big turning point for this Austin Bruins team, albeit it was just 2 weeks ago. But having the number 2 team in the division come into Riverside Arena, only a 1-point difference between those two, and the Bruins not only picking up a big Friday night shutout 2-0, but then coming back Saturday night 3-0, a shutout. And I think that's really when this team clicked and they realized this is what's on the line. We need to win this weekend to be able to clinch the number 1 seed in the playoffs. That's exactly what they did, but they did it in dominant fashion. And I mean, with a win like that, I mean, how do you see that affecting this team's momentum, who's won, I believe it's 6 straight games heading into the postseason?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that weekend was absolute turning point, which is funny to say because it's the last weekend of the year. But that weekend, it was just one of those. It's like the Bruins came in, they knew it was going to be a tough matchup, but they said that this was our weekend, and for everything from the forwards to the defensemen to Jack Solomon just standing on his head to make saves. The Bruins just said, we are not letting Bismarck come into our building, and we are going to dominate. And that's the type of play that, we're going to probably see. The coaching staff's done a great job of motivating the guys. Obviously our office is right next to the video room, so we can kind of hear what Coach Howard's saying, and they are going in and motivating. Just the atmosphere that the guys are going to have, or that have had this week in practice, they are focused. So I think, just from all that standpoint, that the Bruins are going to be very focused. They're going to take what they had that Bismarck weekend, because that was essentially a playoff weekend, and use that and turn it into what they're going to do.
The Bruins with only 2 losses during the regular season against the number 2 seeded Bismarck Bobcats, who host the number 3 seed Aberdeen Wings for games 1 and 2 this weekend over at the VFW Sports Center. The Bruins with only 3 losses, 5 wins against Aberdeen this year. And, it's kind of crazy to think that Austin has more wins and less losses against the 2 and 3 seed than they do the 4 seed. And of course, I've heard a lot of discourse around the community of, man, I didn't want to pull Watertown in the first game just because it's the only team that the Bruins had a losing record against this year. But I don't think that really will play into a factor. As we mentioned, completely different teams. This team has clicked. They have found what to do to score. The defense has been red hot right now. The penalty kill has been dominant as of recent, as has the power play. Everything just seems to be clicking for this Austin Bruins team. But not to get ahead of ourselves and looking to the second round, but you look at the other matchup, the Bismarck Bobcats, the Aberdeen Wings, 2 teams that have been right there with the Bruins all year long near the top of the Central Division. Aberdeen was in first place for the majority of the first half of the season, ended up hitting a bit of a slump. Bismarck and Austin taking advantage of that and climbing into that 1 and 2 seed. Aberdeen's still been riding the 3 seed for the remainder of the season as well. And you look to that series, Aberdeen actually has a winning record against Bismarck. They've kind of had the Bobcats number this year as well. Those are 2 teams, well-coached teams, 2 experienced coaches. Garrett Roth, a 2-time Robertson Cup champion last year with his Bismarck Bobcats, and then, of course, with the Oklahoma Warriors a few years ago. And then Scott Langer, the winningest coach in North American Hockey League history. He has a Robertson Cup under his belt as well. That would be something we would have to fact check. To my knowledge, I know he has 1. I think he only has 1.
Because they lost the year that they lost that year.
Anyway, but for those 2 teams, I mean, they've got coaches who know what it takes to win in the playoffs. The Wings have a lot of their guys back from last year who knows what it takes to keep up with Bismarck in the playoffs. Of course, they swept the first 2 games at the VFW Sports Center last year before being the victim of their own reverse sweep of the Bismarck Bobcats. But coming out of that series, just any thoughts on that one?
I think that series is just going to be a good old-fashioned Central Division playoff matchup. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be 2 very don't think it's going to be a sweep at all, so it's probably going to be 4 or 5 games. But, that series is going to be really interesting because, like you mentioned, the lower seed team has a better record against the higher seed team. And this could be one of those matchups where the lower seed might come out on top. I don't think, whereas, not that the difference between the Bruins and the Shamrocks, the gap between the two teams is very big, but I think the gap between Bismarck and Aberdeen is a lot closer together than where the Bruins and the Shamrocks are. So I think this division, or that other 2-2 matchup, will go completely in direction. We're not going to go until the finals.
Aberdeen sweeping the Watertown Shamrocks in the final weekend of the regular season. And the last time that Bismarck and Aberdeen saw each other, it was back in March at the VFW Sports Center in Bismarck. Aberdeen with a come-from-behind shootout victory on Friday and ended up beating the Bobcats on Saturday.
Which is also a good thing to bring up. You mentioned the shootout. This is playoff hockey. We don't have shootouts, and we don't have 3-on-3 overtimes. We have 5-on-5, 20-minute overtimes. So, we don't have to worry about, someone going to a shootout to determine whether you're winning or losing a playoff game. You have to play until someone scores it in overtime hockey here in the
Well, we're coming down to our final moments. We're actually a little bit over our allotted time, but Dave over at Power 96 loves it when we go over because it's just he gets to hear more about Bruins hockey. A big season ticket holder, Dave Nelson, a great partner of the Austin Bruins and all the guys over there at Power 96. But this weekend, 7:05 puck drop on both Friday and Saturday night. We've got a lot of cool things happening here for the playoffs. Friday night, the first 300 fans through the door receive a free playoff t-shirt courtesy of our friends at AT&T in Austin. So get here early so you can get one of those cool playoff hockey t-shirts. Friday night, we are also raffling off, well, I guess this show's airing on Saturday. I'm giving all the Friday information, but we're airing this on Saturday. So maybe I should just hype up Saturday night, which should also be very cool.
Saturday is J.J. Francischetti's jersey.
J.J. Francischetti's black ice jersey will be raffled off. And the Bruins will be wearing their black ice jerseys this weekend as well. So at the time of this airing, hopefully the Bruins picked up a win on Game 1.
But we're not still playing
but Saturday night, J.J. Francischetti's black ice jersey will be raffled off. Raffle tickets available throughout the night, $5 for one, $20 for an arm's length. You can find my buddy Peter walking through the stands, but it's just playoff hockey. It'll be good hockey. You want to come out and watch the Austin Bruins on their path for the Robertson Cup to try and pick up a win and take this opening series against the Watertown Shamrocks. 7:05 puck drop. You can get your tickets at tickets.austinbruins.com. We only had a short amount of time, but we covered a lot. There's probably a lot more we could cover on this playoff preview, but
we didn't ramble that much either.
We didn't ramble that much. We were kind of a little bit more constructed this time, but the Bruins making a playoff push. And, of course, 43 wins on the year, the best record in team history. So this team is special, and you're not going to want to miss a single game. So come on out, cheer on the Bruins, and let's make Riverside rowdy. For another edition of Austin Bruins Insider, thank you to Peter Theodos for joining me. I've been David Coyer, and you've been listening to Austin Bruins Insider on the exclusive home of Bruins Insider, Power 96 and KQPRFM.com. Hopefully, we see you at Riverside Arena tonight. But if not, tune in on NAHLTV.com. I'll be on the call. But we'll see you next time for another edition of Austin Bruins Insider.
And thank you, Mr. David Coyer. Of course, I'm going to have a talk with him where he's doing his interviews because, of course, it sounded like they were doing some work on the Zamboni there in the background and things like that. But, of course, we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. We're going to get, right now, we're going to go right into our HyVee happenings with Chad Adams, of course, the store director here for your Albert Lee HyVee, of course, the official home of Tiger Sports Saturday. And, Chad, how are you doing today?
Doing good. It's a little chilly on this Saturday, but we'll get through it and hopefully get some, looks like warm weather upon us midweek next week.
I hope, and we've talked about this. You look outside right now, and it doesn't look too bad. But you step outside, it is 100 bit difference.
Yeah, you're definitely, if you were a parachute, you would love it.
Of course, HyVee has a lot of things happening. Of course, a great community sponsor as well with not only just Tiger Sports, but local sports in general, local schools. Of course, you guys have that gas deal. So right now you have over 7,000 items with fuel savers on them, and we know gas prices have been kind of fluctuating here over the last couple of weeks. But with HyVee, you can definitely save some money at the pump by using your HyVee Perks card. And then in return, you go ahead and you guys make a donation to schools.
Yeah, donation to schools on what you spend as a
Hold
total.
up a little bit more. We gave him the handheld mic
no
today.
kidding. How's that, Dave?
There we go.
Yeah, so you just turn your receipt in and mark what school you want some of those funds to go back to that school. So it's up to you if you wish, and just put that in a box at customer service, and we'll draw those out here at the end of the month. And then, you mentioned about 7,000.
It's rotating on you.
I see that.
There you go.
There we go. Now we're good. Then you mentioned over 7,000 fuel saver items throughout the store. So, we have those. And obviously this weekend's also a fuel saver sale. So you spend $60, you get 30-cent fuel saver on that. If you spend $120, then you get 60 cents. And then today only till 6 o'clock, I did drop fuel price down to $3.66.
Wow!
So come see us. So it's really a third advantage there on fuel today if you can get out here today. So that's a little special deal for this for today until 6 o'clock.
So now, do you get to help kind of fluctuate the pricing, or does that kind of come from corporate?
It kind of goes through what's going on in the market, to be honest with you. So we kind of watch that and be right with our neighbors and so forth. But every now and then we'll drop the hat and do what we want to do. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
So here we are today. So today's a good day to fill up, especially if you're going to shop with some fuel savers this afternoon. So,
Chad, I know you got a lot going on and a busy guy. What do you got? What's HyVee got for us for the NFL draft coming up this next weekend?
Well, with that there, we have what's called a smoked meat fest right now. So we have a great deal on ribs if you want to do your own. But if you don't, we have a great deal on ribs that we smoke in-house. And so to share a little bit of that going on, we got $15 for one rack of ribs, already smoked, ready to go. All you do is you can warm them up a little bit, and off you go, right? So if you buy 2 racks for $25, you want 3 racks, it'd be $35 for 3 racks. 3 smoked racks, ready to go. Invite all your friends that you want to be at your house.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. And then at the same time, we got a fuel saver on our fresh-made salads. That does include the Mrs. Jerry's that we do pack ourselves. So 10-cent fuel saver per pound. So if you buy a big 2-pounder, obviously you get roughly around 20-cent fuel saver on top. And then pulled pork as well, $6.99 a pound. Easy way to, if you don't want the mess and fuss, you just stop in and get the package of it and warm it up and grab some bakery fresh buns back there, and life is good. So that's a good easy way for during that draft coming up.
Yeah, I agree. Boy, that's a pretty good deal. You get to save at the pump and you save in your pocket. So 2 great ways.
Yep.
And of course, with the draft, and like you said, everything's pre-cooked. So for those, we're one of them. We like to sit and watch the draft, and you sometimes try to plan it out, especially when you know the Vikings or, in Caldy's case, the Bears are going to draft. But you don't know, because then all of a sudden they make a change.
Yeah.
And next thing, you don't want to be stuck outside cooking your ribs and miss the pick. So have HyVee cook it for you.
Yep. Have us cook it for us, and then
nice.
And then we have 2 new programs that are going to start. That's going to launch Monday. So we're going to do Mega Meat Mondays. That'll start this Monday. So we're going to do, if you spend $25 or per $25, you get a 20-cent fuel saver. So we're going to start that off, and we're going to run it the current month, and we'll see how it goes, and we might continue to do it. And then at the same time, what we're going to do, for those of you who want to sit in your couch on tomorrow and you don't want to get out and you want to shop on Monday, we're going to starting Monday, we're going to do free delivery if you order on Aisles Online. So we're going to try that out. And
minimum purchase?
No minimum purchase.
Okay.
And you just have to put in 1019 delivery as the code, and we'll get free delivery out to you. So just easy way. If you know you got to get 6 items, 8 items, whatever you need, dial up the computer, go to HyVee.com and select shop, and go to Aisles Online feature there, and put that code in and get free delivery. We're gonna do that all the way through May. So
nice,
easy way. And then if you're not an Aisles Online or HyVee Perks member, definitely you can. We're going to offer, if you're not an Aisles Online customer currently, that there's also a code you can use, Welcome10, and you purchase $24.99 and you get $10 off. So if you're a first-time user, you can definitely get a free delivery offer. Plus, you can also get $10 off if you spend $24.99 or more. So it's a good way to try to make your life easier. I know things are starting to really, if it ever warms up, we'll get some outdoor sports season going, and it's an easy way for you to, if you're just sitting in the lawn chair at the ball field or even at home, you can just dial it up and make whatever you want to order, and we'll definitely shop it for you. And then all you have to do is receive them at home, or if you want to come pick them up. So
yeah, and that's a great option, and I know especially. It's kind of a double-edged sword for you. I know some people say they like it because, especially if they take their kids or maybe their spouses, we should do this. We should. You go from picking up like 5 items to 100 items, where HyVee would like you to do that 100 items, but it definitely makes it easier for the people. Like I said, when you don't have time, it just you do your shopping right there. You're not tempted. I've always said, don't go grocery shopping when you're hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so that's 2 new programs that we'll start on Monday, or promotions, I guess you want to call it, that will start on Monday. So come visit us either online or in the store, and save big. And like you mentioned, a lot of items on Fuel Saver as well. So there's going to be an addition Fuel Saver savings at the end of the day for you as well.
Yeah, and of course, if you're getting ready for the draft next door here too at the Wine and Spirits, they have a lot of items over there as well. Of course, this morning had a little bourbon raffle.
Yep, they sure did.
And I know Caldy got a nice bottle, and a couple of our other friends got some nice bottles.
Good for you guys.
So, that's always fun. I didn't make it over there. I slept in this morning. I was tired. But, yeah, no, like I said, you guys always have items, no matter whether it's here in the store, next door, across the street at the HyVee Gas. Like I said, everything you guys have going on here.
Yep, and I appreciate all your time, so appreciate it.
Yeah, and I know you got to get rolling, so we'll get you on out of here. So thank again, Chad Adams, of course, the store director here for your Albert Lea HyVee. Chad, have a great rest of your weekend.
You too, and hopefully you got a busy weekend planned for yourself.
Oh, we're going to go see some Bruins hockey. It's going to be
fun.
Thank
you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Chad.
you. So once again, Chad Adams here, HyVee in Albert Lea. We're going to go ahead. Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll put a wrap on the show. We'll go through all of our sports boosters, all of that stuff. Like I said, kind of been a long show today here. A lot of information for everybody. But we'll go ahead. We'll be right back here with more on Tiger Sports Saturday, live from your Albert Lea HyVee.
The regular season is over and the playoffs are underway. The Bruins host the number 4 seed Watertown Shamrocks at Riverside Arena this weekend for games 1 and 2 of the Central Division semifinal. Puck drop for both nights is 7:05, and fans can get their tickets at tickets.austinbruins.com or head over to one of our ticket vendors, Games People Play, HyVee in Austin, or Jim's Marketplace. Let's make Riverside rowdy throughout these Robertson Cup playoffs.
You finally got that new toy, shiny, powerful, and ready for adventure. But then... Oh, didn't see that, did ya? Or maybe your buddy Dave took your jet ski for a spin. And now it's at the bottom of the lake. That's where Americana Insurance Group comes in. We cover motorcycles, ATVs, watercraft, and RVs because accidents happen, especially to Dave. Protect your toys from yourself and Dave. Americana Insurance of Albert Lea, Ellendale, and Wells. AmericanaInsurance.com.
Save more at HyVee. Earn Fuel Saver rewards on over 1,000 items at your Albert Lea HyVee with your HyVee Perks card. Don't have a card? Sign up today. It's free. Go to HyVee.com/perks.
The friendly staff at Albert Lea's Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union reminds you that when you're in need of a home that satisfies your financial needs, let Trades and Labor Credit Union make it easy with checking services, debit cards, home equity loans, and savings options that will earn you more for your money. Visit Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union on Albert Lee's friendly south side. Open 6 days a week with social distancing for your safety and theirs. Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union, member NCUA, providing financial services since 1958.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-507-9701. That's 800-507-9701. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
CBS News Brief. Despite increasing rhetoric between the U.S. and Iran over the changing status of the Strait of Hormuz, all hope isn't lost over possible talks to end the conflict. CBS's Olivia Rinaldi.
Senior administration officials told CBS News on Friday that U.S. officials could be back in Pakistan for talks with Iran in the coming days, with the vice president likely to lead those talks.
President Trump signed an executive order earlier to ease access to some psychedelic drugs. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
We owe it to our warfighters and veterans to turn over every stone to alleviate the emotional and mental health blowback from their deployments.
In Africa.
It peut sembler à certains moments.
That's Pope Leo XIV in Cameroon. He held Mass there before heading to Angola. It's his first trip to Africa, where there are millions of Catholics, but Africa has little representation in Vatican leadership. CBS News Brief. I'm Allison Keys.
Howard 96.
And back here again from your Albert Lee HyVee, it's Tiger Sports Saturday. Of course, I'm Sports Director Dave Nelson alongside with Mr. Marcus Antonio Calderon, a.k.a. Caldy, a.k.a. Sparky. And busy morning this morning. Of course, a good Austin Bruins insider. And like I said, yeah, we're proud season ticket holders there. And if you guys haven't been to a game, tonight would be a great time to go check it out. Like I said, it's going to be another great game. Correct me if I'm wrong, Caldy.
There it is.
I think tonight's going to get a little chippy.
I would say chippy's probably a good word. Last night it tended to get a little chippy, but it was a great game. All the way down to the final seconds. I was very unsure. I was being positive, but I was unsure how the outcome was going to come. But that's how tight of a hockey game it was. So.
Yeah, and there I knew I heard myself. It was on here.
There's
it was
that.
our boxcast popping back through. Okay, let's go ahead and let's thank some of our sports boosters, because, of course, without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do, and that's keep local sports on local radio, so we do appreciate each and every one of our sponsors, and I'm asking you right now, listen to these sponsors, and go thank them, and maybe go spend a little money with them, and tell them thank you for keeping local sports on local radio. Of course, Americana Insurance, Bayview Freeborn Funeral Home, Southern Minnesota Branding, On the Spot Appliance, Arcadian Bank, Star Granite Works, GT Window and Door, Gutters by GT, the Austin Bruins, Elf Orthodontics, Robert Hoffman Realty, Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union, Thompson Sanitation, Young Construction and Roofing, Nick's Meats in Hayward, South Main Auto Service in Austin, Freeborn County Solid Waste, North Star Power Sports and Marine, Shell Rapid Lube, the Overhead Door Company, Albert Lee Convention and Visitors Bureau, Ernie's Canvas, P&L Excavating and Complete Septic Systems, Derek's Preferred Auto in Blooming Prairie, Liberty Extreme Car Wash and Detailing, Jensen Heating, Plumbing and Air Conditioning in Geneva, Hanson Tire Service of Austin, Etc. Credit Union, Marthaler Honda in Owatonna, Design Ready Controls, HyVee in Albert Lee, Jake's Pizza, Wasik Inc. in Aero Printing, and the Community Foot Clinic. So thanks again to all of our sports boosters. Of course, one of our newer boosters, Robert Hoffman Realty. Appreciate them coming on to the program as well and helping support local radio and local sports here on Power 96. Of course, our Tiger Sports Saturday sponsors, HyVee here in Albert Lea, Americana Insurance, the Pizza Ranch, Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union, and the Austin Bruins. Caldy, a lot going on today as far as in sports, not local sports. I mean, obviously the Bruins, with the weather the way it is, as cold as it is, high school, pretty much everybody has postponed their games. But we've got some pretty big matchups happening in basketball, in baseball, and hockey. Of course, with hockey, the Minnesota Wild start their playoff push today, which is going to be that's going to be a fun one as well. You look at even with the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're playing today as well.
They play the Nuggets today.
Yep, and that's going to be a very big game. I think is that a 1 o'clock game as well?
Yes, it's a 1 o'clock game. It is on Amazon Prime.
Okay, so if you don't have Prime, you're kind of out of luck.
Yes, yeah. And then there's soccer today. Minnesota United playing Portland Timbers.
It's going to be cold.
That's going to be a little
Are
cold.
they home or are they away?
It looks like they are away, so they're in Portland.
Oh, that might be chilly over in Oregon, too.
It may be a little cold there. And then what else? Twins play today. Twins got a 105-110 game. I believe they're playing the Reds.
I believe you're right. I know yesterday I think they ended up losing to the Reds.
Yeah.
Twins have been doing pretty good, though.
Twins have been a little hot as of late.
I know. I'm just looking this up.
I got it right here. It's the Reds, and they play at 110. So that'll be a good matchup again today. What else we got? Oh, I was going to mention two things here at HyVee. Let's remember what Chad just went over with those two new programs. Boy, I tell you what, HyVee is going above and beyond to really take care of their customers, like they always have. So thank you to HyVee, and some of those sponsors that Dave mentioned that help us bring you the broadcasts for local sports here in Albert Lea. There's a little community baseball booster.
It's like the Tiger card.
The Tiger card that's out there, and some of those sponsors might have that you can also help baseball grow here in the town of Albert Lea. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with helping kids. So
that is true, Caldy. No better words have been stated by you except for go Twins. I mean, I'm not going to agree with your Bears. Neither you are on. FYI, do not look out into the parking lot because the sun is beating off of Northbridge Mall, and it had blinded me. It literally, I looked over and it blinded me. Now all I see is white everywhere.
We can't have that.
No, I cannot even see the screen right now. That is craziness.
That is mad.
Considering that they did say it was going to be a huge UV day today, high UV day today, which I don't know even what that really means, except for that it's going to be extremely sunny. It says low right now. The UV index is low. Oh, moderate. So, yeah, the UV index, if you're, maybe you need to get a tan. It's going to be a little cold out there. I don't know if I'd go sunbathing today. You might want to go check out Etc. Tanning and Clothing, if anything on that. But, like I said, it's going to be a breezy day. 17-mile-per-hour winds is what it looks like right now. It is expected to get up to about 45 degrees tonight, though, Caldy.
There we go. Going to have a heat wave while we're sitting in a hockey arena.
Yeah, well, and I don't know what the actual temp is of the arena. I should actually find that out. But there's been a lot of time, we talked about this too, where it's been warmer inside the hockey arena than it has been outside or even at a baseball game, which, of course, it was a couple weeks ago. The Twins had their home opener. It was 30-some degrees outside at the ball field, and we're in a hockey arena, 40s to 50 degree. And it's a little different because you don't have the wind.
Correct. It's a controlled air, we'll say.
Yeah. So we're just about done here with the show for today. I want to go ahead thank all of our sports boosters, of course, our Tiger Sports Saturday sponsors, HyVee and Albert Lea, Americana Insurance, the Pizza Ranch, Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union, and the Austin Bruins. And just as a reminder for Tiger Sports this week, pending weather, which hopefully everything's going to go good, we will bring you Tiger Baseball on Monday night as they face off against Jordan. here at Hike Field. Tuesday night at the Hammer Complex as girls softball takes on Austin. So a nice little border battle there. And then Thursday night, boys baseball against Mankato West. Of course, again, the night, if you didn't know, we've talked about it a lot today. Austin Bruins, game number 2.